I think it's quite remarkable. This man's urge to compete just keeps growing rather than diminishing. He's been around for 2 decades.
Yeah.
And it just seems to be, it's not about getting better at the sport. That is, that's one thing of being a very high level performer. So you have to maintain that standard. But unquenchable, appetite for being at the elite level, competing all the while, win or lose, it doesn't matter. He's there ready for the next competition. And what is simultaneously happening is he's becoming a mentor for so many young table tennis players that are coming along. Table tennis was a sport which was almost extinguished. If you look back 10, 15 years ago, it's coming back, and I think India should be should aim to be amongst the top countries playing the sport. And if they aim to be there, then they need guys like Sharath Kamal, not just as players, but also as inspiration and role model.
Sharda, in 2006, Sharath made his debut at the Commonwealth Games and at that time went on to win the men's singles title, the first Indian to do so in the category at that time. And then, 14 years later, 15 years later, to repeat that performance, can you think of any other story in Indian sport quite like this?
In terms of success, it seems again it's one of those names that he sort of hung on, and he's literally seen a transition of Indian sport over these last 2 decades. So we are talking about an era where, as Ayaz was saying, we would crumble under pressure, and Sharath has stayed competitive, stayed involved, and like Ayaz is saying, all the athletes, the younger athletes that came through, Satyan, who's playing with him, such an inspiration. Because of the fact that he's still around, he's still involved, and he still sort of competes hard. And even though the Commonwealth Games TT may not be of the standard that the Asian Games is, you still have to win the matches, you still have to clean out the points. And the fact that he's got such a big bucket full of medals, it's almost like TT is not a sport that is for you think that 40-year-olds play it, but I mean, you didn't think that about tennis either, but anyway, but he's there, so he's showing you what you can do despite everything, despite when he started playing competitively, when he started competing at the Commonwealth level. Indian table tennis was not anywhere. It didn't have the kind of performances that it has now. He showed, he just sort of hung through, and he fought hard. So he's a great fighter. And if only we could get all younger table tennis players to see his longevity and his endurance, literally, in a sport that is so tough to compete in and to stay at the highest level, to be pitching for medals, whatever it is, whichever competition he's in. You know he'll never give up.
Yeah, and that's really the big lesson to take away from Sharath Kamal. Never give up. And I remember speaking to him before the last Olympics, and there was a buzz that this would be his last and he would retire. And he's like, everybody keeps asking me to retire, but I'm not going anywhere. And a year later, the Commonwealth Games, this Commonwealth Games were his best performance yet at 40 years old.